This morning's book is Networthing, How to Develop a Growth Mindset. But before we get into the book, let's find out some more about this Jamaican author who is a Jill of all trades you can probably think of. She's Dr. Racquel Palmer. Hey, Racquel, good morning. Welcome to Smile Jamaica.
Hi, Delia. How are you?
I
Thank you
am
for having me.
awesome. Racquel, how many hours do you
Yes.
have in a day?
Delia, I may have the same 24 hours as you, same 24 hours as you, but you know what? I let it worthwhile.
So let's get a little bit into your background briefly before I get into the book, because I know we just have a little bit of time. You were in the JCF here in Jamaica,
Yes.
did forensic crime scene investigation, and then you migrated and you continued
Yes.
with crime
NYPD.
solving.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
I'd say NYPD, but tell me a little bit about all the other things that you've done in terms of working at various levels. Why the fascination with that?
So you know what? Let's put it this way. I'm a lifelong learner. So as long as I'm living, I'm going to be learning.
Yes, but you're
I'm
learning.
trying to evolve. Like as time passed, as technology developed, I try to go with it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what happens is after I left the JCF, I migrated to the US. I kind of reluctantly did it because I love the JCF. Even to this day, the JCF is my baby.
Mm-hmm.
So I came here. My mom was diagnosed with cancer, so I was forced to come here because of financial restraints.
Yeah.
When I came here on a Wednesday, and the Friday I went and I sat the entrance exam for the New York Police Department. During that time, I'm like, I'm also going to do my master's in global and homeland security. So I applied, I got accepted to school, but then my mother passed.
Mm.
So this kind of, I'm an only child, by the way, so you know how that goes.
Wow.
Yes, so I buried my mom 2013, December, and 2 weeks after I started school.
Wow.
At first, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this, but then my mom always says, no matter what, life has to go on.
Mm-hmm.
So I pushed and I'm like, I have to do this. Thanks to my aunt Lilith and my cousin Suko, like they had me throughout all this time. And I pushed through and I did it. By the time I completed my master's, the NYPD called me to join their organization. Um, as I was beginning training, I had applied to do my PhD in criminal justice. So they told me, oh, you have to stop going to school because you won't be able to manage training and school. I'm like, okay, but deep down I know that I'm not going to let this opportunity pass, so
At
I'm not going to
Jamaica you
stop.
come from?
Right? Multitask. So I stood my ground. I stayed quiet throughout training and I maintained my average. I graduated with a 97% average, and all doing this with my PhD. I continued pressing along with my PhD. So when I completed my PhD, the commissioner of police sent me a citation and he's like, you only have what? 3.5 years service on. How is it you have a PhD? And, I told him, you know what, I study hard, I stayed focused, I never lose sight, and this is it. So I know by then he was thinking like, this girl must have been doing this PhD while she was in training. But, I just kept it together. I kept
Yes.
it grounded. I took my citation, I took my certificate from him, and I'm like, thank you. And I just kept it going.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the kind of mindset that you discuss in your book, Racquel, because you've worked on major law enforcement teams, you've partnered with major law enforcement agencies, and then it's like you decide, said, "Cho, this is not enough." You open an immigration firm.
Yes.
Then and now you're in law school, majoring in immigration. You're going to open
Yes.
King's Kitchen, a Caribbean
Yeah.
restaurant, and then you say, "Look, what is sleep? Let me go write a book." And you're a wedding officiant and a notary public. No, listen, Racquel, what drives that? What
So
drives
you
that
know what?
mindset? Yes.
So moving to the United States, I realized that when it comes to Black people, we're kind of a disadvantage. For instance, when I wanted stuff to notarize, thank God my aunt at the time, she was a notary. So she would, like, I had it in my house. But then when I moved out of my aunt's house, it was so hard for me to get stuff to notarize, because if you know, like, persons definitely has to know you for them to notarize stuff for you. So then I'm like, how about the less fortunate Jamaicans who might not know anyone? This is going to be so hard for them. So I went ahead and I studied, and I went and I did the exam, and I, put it out. Listen, I notarize stuff for free. I don't charge. Just come to me. As long as your documents are legit, I'm going to notarize them.
Yeah.
Then I realized that there was a shortage of wedding officiants, Black Jamaican, to be exact, wedding officiants. Now, as you know, we prefer to deal with people of our culture. I think we understand each other better.
Our
we
wedding
take on to each other. Yeah, so we're different. So I went ahead and I'm like, you know what? Let me check. Let me see how I can get this done. So I did it. Now, before all that, I had this knock for immigration. Since I came here, I had this knock for being a lawyer before, because while I was in the JCF, I'd actually started my law degree with UTech, but I ended up withdrawing because it was the first year of their program and it wasn't so organized.
Okay. So
I started doing immigration here, and I realized that my Jamaican people take on to me so much, it just went blooming. So I'm like, you know what? The only thing I can't do when it comes to immigration right now is to actually go in court with you and represent you if you're under deportation. So I'm like, no, I have to do something about this. I'm like, you know what? My son is only 2 years old. He's not ready for me yet. He's not ready for me to study with him yet. How about just take the other 3 years, the next 3 years, and just go get my law degree? So that's what I'm doing now. In law school, majoring in immigration. So yes, my Jamaican counterparts, I'm coming to present you guys in court. I'm coming.
All right. So I know that the book, where can we get it? Because this is your story. This book is your story, and how you've overcome obstacles to achieve and to be where you are. And it really is empowering. And your personality is reflected in it. So it's a fun read. Where do we get our hands on it?
So you know what? This book is on Amazon worldwide.
Yes.
It's only $12.99. I make it so cheap because I realized the same question you asked me, how many hours in my day? Persons kept inboxing me, kept calling me, Miss Palmer, how you do this? Because I'm a party girl. I party a lot. I'll go out. I like a good party. I like to eat food. So I'm always out. So they're like, how do you balance, your professional life with your academic life, with your personal life? And I'm like, you know what? Instead of telling each person that call or text, I'm like, let me put it in a book. So it's accessible to everyone across the globe. So go on Amazon. It doesn't matter where you are. They ship worldwide. It's there. $12.99.
Awesome. Awesome. Racquel, keep blooming. Keep blooming.
Thank you.
And making the difference. Awesome talking to you this morning.
Thank you, Delia. Take care.
Dr. Racquel Palmer, author of Networthing, How to Develop a Growth Mindset. Still to come, in 10 minutes to your health, we're going to look at how to move persons are not on an accident scene. Because if you don't know how, don't move them. But first, here's News in 5.